All right, we are live on this week's edition of Halftime Hits Broadway Sports Media. You can find all of our content at BroadwaySportsMedia.com. I am Jonathan. You can find me on Twitter at JB on Broad. You can find my co-host here at Ryan on Broadway. Got some thoughts about this game.
I'm glad you do.
I'll let you kind of lead off here. We normally just start with the offense, and I don't want to get away from that.
The offense played?
Yeah,
I'm kidding, of course, but just from the start, everything's been off balance. They've had some good play themselves in the foot. They actually had some good movement. But the real big story for me this game is that you saw last week the Titans' offensive line was just dominating, blowing people off the ball, moving them back 3 yards, really getting some great holes. And this game just hasn't been there. There's been on many plays, I would say probably 9 of them, there's been somebody in the backfield 2 to 3 yards deep at some point in time. You saw it on the fumble when Nate Davis got worked. But it's been multiple offensive line. And Saffold got thrown on the 4th and 1 that may or may not have made it. It's just been a day. It's almost been a flip from what they've been totally awful, but every run play has had some extra garbage to work through, and that's been so far. And now the Titans have to go to something they're not comfortable with and not be a run-first team.
Yeah, well, look, it's one of those, we can talk about the run game and everything, and there's plenty of stuff to knock on the Titans defense, and I'm loving there's a little bit of emotion here in the comments. Pretty
embarrassing.
The good news is that we got people here that are still emotionally invested in this team. They continue to do this, and that's probably the most disappointing part is that performances like this are not too infrequent for this team. They continue to pop up. And my biggest problem when I look at the Titans, what the defense has been crap all year. They played better in some games, but ultimately they have not been good. But you know that going into it. The problem for me is the offensive game plan coming into this was, hey, we're going to do what we do. We're going to run it right at the Browns, who are getting Myles Garrett back. You know you have a depleted offensive line, and yes, they've played well, but the Browns defensive backfield is just
atrocious.
They don't have any bodies there at this point. So to come in there and attack the way that they did, put themselves, and then also if you're going to come in here and say you're just going to run over a team, even though they know it's coming, you're not throwing Aaron Brewer down there on 3rd and 1. Look, and my biggest problem with that is they ran the same play last week against the goal line. The element of surprise is essentially not there. And look, yes, he still should have caught it, and you can say what you want about it. You're still
don't let an offensive lineman in that kind of a spot where he has to catch that and make a perfect play. Yes, he grabbed it, defender knocked it out, but he also wasn't in that position. Make 2 Henry runs there and be done with it. If you're going to go for it twice, 2 Henry runs, be done with it. Get the first down.
Absolutely. And so the Browns come in, though, they have the exact correct mentality. You know where the Titans struggle. You're going to attack that secondary. You're going to go play action. And the Titans acted like they had never seen a forward pass before and how they were attacking the Browns on offense. And so
I feel you, Kyle.
Yeah, it's just you don't have words that come back from this 30-point first half shellacking, and I was expecting them to give up 40. I was ready to see that. So I mean, we can talk about what they did or didn't do, and that's really, they did nothing.
Well, here's the thing. It's the Titans have been playing better, right? But it's more of the opposing offenses have not been necessarily attacking the Titans where they're the weakest, and that's down the field. Now, the Titans have been bringing their coverage up a little bit, which we've been begging for, and it's been working. Now you've got a quarterback who's really attacking that deep third and making the Titans pay. It doesn't help that your corner bites. And Brandon Borders, we can all get mad about that one play, and that's fair. But he has been playing well, and this is like, as far as my memory, his first really bad play since he's been starting, holding it together, so it's not too bad. It just unfortunately happened when a 75-yard touchdown was the result. So obviously it stings a little more. So Baker, my impression of Baker is he's not that good of a quarterback, but the Titans are definitely helping him look like a all-star quarterback, Pro Bowl quarterback, whatever it is right now. And that's just, but this is also one of those games that has that feel that it's just gotten away from the Titans, and there's really not much they can do to get it back together, and that sucks. This happens in the NFL sometimes, maybe not this bad. I mean, the Browns set a franchise record scoring in the first half. Fantastic. So what do you What would you do if you were the Titans, if at all?
Oh, I think you get committed to the run game and get on to next week. Yeah, I mean,
Shorten this game
that
up.
clock because you're not coming back at this point. I mean, if they come back, then I will gladly chug a bottle of bourbon live if they come back from this because I feel pretty confident that happening. It's not very many games that you come into it and you question the effort from a team. And I expected that there could be some letdown. And I know Titans film room has been harping on that all week, but letdowns are close losses kind of thing. Those are one that, you in a home game, another 8-3 team comes in, but this is a complete lack of showing up. It's a complete lack of effort from a professional team. And I see things, hey, can we talk about the refs there? And look, we can talk about the refs. Yes, the flow of the game, it was thrown off by a bad call, compounded by your bad call. And it's just, you took a bad situation. So it's, you're not firing Vrabel. It's, I don't know what you do other than, hey, get on, get out, get on to next week.
Yeah, and that's the thing is that fire variable may be a bit of I get the anger. Everything that's happened bad has happened, or any wrong decision. If we want to talk about the defensive offseason, the players they chose in Beasley and Clowney and them not amounting to much this year. We'll talk about not having a DC. Those are all fair arguments, but there's not really much the Titans can do about it right now. I don't see them going out and finding that stud edge that's available in the market that's going to make a difference right now. And having the defense coordinator come in, yeah, I'd be willing to test that. I just don't know if it would work, how everything's been going in the game flow and everything. I mean, couldn't hurt to try, I guess. But at this point right now with the Browns, I say you try your best to do everything you can to get out without any major injuries. You never want to give up, especially when you have a second half. Because, I mean, if the Browns score 38, then why can't the Titans and hold them? But I just don't have faith this defense is going to hold the Browns out this entire second half. And now if they want to try to push it, they're going to have to start airing it out completely. And that's just not the team they are. And when they have the backup tackles they have in the game, I'm not sure that's smart because you can't really air raid and put a whole lot out in the coverage if you're shipping or trying to protect those tackles. And you've seen Myles Garrett take advantage of Q a little bit today, well, on a couple plays. So refereeing aside, calls aside, I just don't know what the Titans do other than trying to get out of this without any injuries would be a major win to me, at least for the team future.
Yeah, don't lose 2 games in one.
Right.
That's the biggest thing. You can only lose 1 game today. I mean, and I see the things, the comments over here. And one, let me go ahead and put a disclaimer. I said I'd chug a bottle of bourbon. I didn't say what size. So I'm going to caveat that just a little bit. It may be an airplane bottle, but it will be a whole bottle. People out here saying that get cut because he ain't out there. Well, guess what? There's you see Breon Borders out there, and he's giving you what he has for a guy of his caliber. But Adoree needs to be out there and help that. And look, as far as defensive coaching goes, they've given up a ton of points, but they have not been helped by the time of possession. And the book is out on how you hold the clock, take the ball away from that offense, and move the ball on that defense. And the offense doesn't always play complementary football to prevent that from happening. And that's what you saw in this. They put themselves in bad situations whenever they needed to actually get back in the game. They come out and they go with a trick play to Batson. Then you're going to switch it up and bring Henry back in with no Brown, outside no threat, Davis outside. So it's a very obvious 2nd and 9 run, and put yourself in a 3rd and 9 where you have to have it. And pretty much the game was over at that point. So it's just sad all the way around. And frankly, I think this has been Art Smith's maybe worst game as an offensive coordinator, including some of the Mariota games early last year. There's just no flow to it and no understanding of how to adapt to how the game is going. And so I'm as mad at the offense as I would be at the defense.
Yeah. And just to address this, we're not going to have a Panda sighting because he's suspended. So, I mean, he's not even suiting up, and who knows how long he's going to be. I think he's just suspended for this week, but we're not going to see him this game. Here's the thing. I mean, it's Art Smith. I will agree it's been a bad game. I also don't think the Titans, and maybe this is on him, maybe it's on a lot of things, but I think it's the run blocking as well, but they haven't allowed themselves to get into that flow and to get into that. You've seen the one drive that they did when they were the majority of the time throwing it, which again, I don't know if they can keep up for 2 quarters doing nothing but that, because it's just not how they're built. Look, I think Brown and Davis are studs at this point in time. I just don't know if the Browns are going to allow that by the amount of pressure they're going to put on the Titans in the second half to really hammer this thing home. So I don't know if it's been that it has been bad, but just this flow and the balance just hasn't been there. And that's when the Titans are really good. So you've got a real good point there about the time of possession. It's weird to see this, but I guess after years of letdowns after big games and 2 big games in a row, maybe this shouldn't come as that surprising, because it happens more than it hasn't.
Look, I mean, the best we don't agree with Jeff Schwartz on a lot, but he did have one good point. Games like this is how you end up paying Baker Mayfield a long-term contract. So maybe a blessing in disguise for the rest of the league, because I still don't believe in Baker. He's not making spectacular throws over there, but he's taking what the defense has given him, and that's really all you need with the rushing attack that they have. So, I mean, look, we talked about it. Don't lose 2 games in one. We'll go ahead and wrap up this show here today. I do have to say, if you really want to see a panda sighting, there's plenty of YouTube videos of actual pandas out there, which probably do more service to the Titans at this point than Isaiah Wilson does. But check out
the roundtable. I see a lot of questions coming in. Please join us on the roundtable. We'll dive into all these extra, like coaching, worst year for J-Rob, all that kind of stuff. That'll be some great content. Come on, see some fire. Lebowski's fired up already, so it should be a good one. So come bring those questions to the after show. Sorry, John.
It's a happy hour roundtable too. Bring your drinks, BYOB. So check it out afterwards. As always, you can find me on Twitter at JB on Broad. Find Ryan on Twitter at Ryan on Broadway. Make sure you check out the website, BroadwaySportsMedia.com. Got lots of great merch. Make sure they check out the shop there. And you can find Ryan and myself every Wednesday on the Coach's Corner at Coaches on Broad on Twitter. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you after the game.